Regularly scheduled programs will not be seen tonight so that we may bring you the NFL football game live and in color.
3rd and 3. The right side, possibly. Montana looking, throwing in the end zone. Right Clark
sends the Saints to the Super Bowl.
Draw to Miner. Ernest Miner. Fumble the ball, and Denver has recovered. Oh, my.
Welcome to Basically a Football Show.
Basically a Football Show Championship Sunday in the National Football League. 2 games, one extremely close, one a big blowout, but equally entertaining, I thought, all the way through. Great championship weekend of football. I'm Zach, along with me is Greg. And Greg, 2 very different results of games, but like I said, I thought they were both thoroughly entertaining throughout the course of each one.
They really were, and the thing I noticed, or I should say I thought about with both games, is that I don't think the results were what anybody expected going in. I think people thought Carolina could win. I don't think anybody saw what they did coming. And I don't know, a whole lot of people gave the Broncos much of a shot against the Patriots, and just incredible. And what was the final score in the Panthers game? Like 45 to, or it was bad.
It was 49-15.
49-15, and for a blowout, you're right. It was a very entertaining football game. So did anybody have the Panthers and the Broncos in the Super Bowl at the beginning of the season?
Broncos maybe. Panthers, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, they just continue to be the most impressive team all season, and we'll talk about them second, I guess, just in terms of chronological and really, I mean, in terms of tight games. So we'll start in Denver, Colorado, with the Patriots at the Broncos for the NFC title game. Sports Authority Field at Mile High. The palpability in the era of the 17th Manning-Brady matchup. But like you said, no, I don't think anybody gave the Broncos too much of a shot going into the week based on, the offense hadn't really been working and the Patriots had looked so good. And there's, as we kind of thought all season, who else was going to challenge the Patriots? The Broncos might have, and they stumbled throughout. And so the Patriots, in kind of a surprise move, they open the game by they win the kickoff or the coin toss, but they receive the ball, something they don't normally do. They go out, and the Broncos D just started their assault on Tom Brady.
Their defense was amazing the whole game. I mean, that pass rush was just ferocious the entire game.
They were getting after Brady all day, so they stopped on the first drive. Then the Broncos respond with an 8-minute touchdown drive that ends in a 21-yard pass from Peyton Manning to Owen Daniels for a 7-0 lead. And at that point, everyone kind of thought, oh, this game's going to be different.
Yeah.
Because the defense looked so good. I mean, it's just one drive for each team. But if I had said that one defense was going to come out and just, smother the other team's quarterback and the other offense was going to come out and lead an impressive touchdown drive to take an early lead, you thought it would have been switched for sure.
Exactly. And just the way that I think that might have been the nicest pass I'd seen Peyton Manning throw all season, the touchdown to Owen Daniel in the first one. It was just perfect. And for the Broncos to come out, and I think, too, that had they only ended up with a field goal on that drive, we might have had a completely different football game. But the fact that they came out and put 7 on the board right out of the gate, I guess it kind of announced that, hey, we're here to play, if that makes any sense.
Definitely. So the Patriots eventually respond later in the quarter with a 1-yard run by Steven Jackson, of all people.
Yeah.
And it looks like the Pats are going to tie it up because you got Steven Gostkowski, Mr. Automatic back there. He hasn't missed a kick in 10 years or whatever. Shanks the field goal to the right. With the wind blowing to the left, he actually kicked the ball wide right, and the Patriots end the first quarter down 7-6. Initially, you don't think it's going to be a big deal because maybe the Patriots get their things back in order.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a big deal right out of the gate.
But that extra point sure played a part later in the game.
When he missed that, my first thought was this is going to be huge in this game at some point. And while we're talking about that for a second, we made a lot of fun of the rule change with the extra point. We're like, who cares? What difference does it make? And it played a role in a lot of games this year, but man, to have it just play such a large role in the AFC Championship game like this, I know a lot of people complained about it, but I thought that if there was ever a reason to change that rule, we saw it in that game on Sunday. This is why they did it, because now all of a sudden the extra point is very, very important. And it was no more evident than it was in the AFC Championship game.
And you know who proposed that rule in the offseason?
No.
Bill Belichick.
Well.
Well, so we go into the second quarter, and the Broncos get another touchdown pass to Owen Daniels, go up 14-6. Patriots are held to a field goal. Broncos get another field goal to close out the first half. 9-17. The Broncos led at half, and I think we were all kind of flabbergasted. Just the defense continued to get after Tom Brady, and not blitzing either. Like, just the front four of the Broncos were demolishing the Patriots' front line. And then we go into the second half, and the Broncos' offense disappears
completely.
And just kind of this is how we expected the Broncos to play against the Patriots in the second half. The offense went away. Manning looked very, very human. But the defense was still stepping up. They held the Patriots to a field goal in the third quarter. Broncos get a field goal in the fourth quarter to go up 20-12 with 10 minutes remaining. From there, it just seemed like it was a matter of time until the Patriots were eventually going to win this game.
I agree.
And the Patriots got some drives. And then they started to go for it on fourth down with 6 minutes left. The first fourth down came. 6 minutes left. They had a 4th and 1 from the Denver 16-yard line. At that point, when you're down by 8, and you know that even just a touchdown in a two-point conversion only ties it, why aren't you going for the field goal there? I kind of agreed with the call at the time myself. I didn't question it then, but once you go back and look at it, you got to wonder why they didn't go for the field goal there.
Well, first off, I wonder why I questioned it at the time because Denver's offense, like you said, it had just completely disappeared in the second half. They were doing nothing. And the Patriots are moving the ball well. You got to take the points in that situation, especially with the way the offense was playing for Denver. And they go for it. And I don't know. The Patriots did a lot of things in this game that I just thought were right from the opening kickoff. It's like, wow, you took the ball. I don't think had they done that all season on a toss that they'd won.
I don't know. Not that I can remember. They always kick when they get the opportunity. So, and in a game where the Patriots still couldn't run the damn ball one bit, that's been an issue for them a lot of the season was not able to run the ball. So their short passing game had become their run offense. So they do a short pass to Julian Edelman that gets destroyed behind the line of scrimmage. They turn the ball over. And this was the other thing with the Broncos. They get these defensive stops. The defense played their hearts out and gave the offense opportunities to really distance themselves from the Patriots.
Yeah.
But the offense for the Broncos just didn't come up with it. So the Patriots eventually get the ball back again. And we go down to 2:25 left. Patriots still down by 8. And now it's a 4th and 6 from the Bronco 14. You know the time and space of the game. You know that you still have all 3 of your timeouts. There's still a 2-minute warning to play. And they still elect to go for it instead of taking the field goal. And your defense, again, has been destroying the Broncos. You know that you can get another opportunity with this football probably. I still don't see – I guess this one I can understand a little bit more because there's less time in the game, but still you got to take the points and play the percentages, right?
Well, with the late in the game, I didn't have a problem with going for it on 4th down there, but again, like you said, with the offense, the way Denver's offense was playing, I don't know. I really don't understand what was going on in Belichick's head at that point. Yeah. I would love to sit here and give you some sort of analysis on it, but I really just don't have a clue.
Well, because on the first one, it's 4th and 1. I can understand trying to go for it because you're the Patriots. 1 yard shouldn't be that hard to get.
Right.
But the second one, it's 4th and 6. And then they on the play, they throw to Gronkowski, who had 6 guys draped on him in the end zone. I didn't see any pass interference there. I know some people are trying to call for it.
No.
Was there a little grab and touch? Yeah, but this is also the AFC Championship game. This isn't, week 1.
No, it was a clean play. I mean, I'm sorry, but I've seen a lot worse gotten away with than what happened in that play.
Belichick said after the game on both those calls, it's time, the number of possessions you have left and what you need to do, and the number of opportunities we had to do that. There weren't very many. At that time, there was no hesitation in doing that. I don't agree with you, Bill, on that one.
Yeah.
You were going to, especially with the first one, you were going to get plenty of opportunity if you had been able to kick the fourth down there.
I could see it if the Broncos had been moving up and down the field at will. Sure. Then you've got to, when you've got the ball, you've got to go for points. But, I mean, I just don't understand it because the Broncos in the second half, would they have one drive that lasted longer than like 6 plays in the entire second half?
I don't think so. I think Bill Simmons said on the podcast that they didn't have, after that touchdown drive in the first half, the second one, they didn't have a offensive drive longer than 50 yards for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
the Broncos. So it's puzzling, especially because of how smart and well oiled the Patriots machine has been. They don't normally make mistakes like that, but and the New York Times has this thing called the fourth down bot, where it calculates win probabilities and basically when you should not go for on fourth down. We always hear about these coaches. Well, the sheet says to go here, and according to the New York Times, algorithm robot, it stood by going on fourth down both those times. So I don't know if it took all the factors into play, but from a pure common sense standpoint, I think anybody that's watching the game thinks maybe kick the field goals there, but they don't. And the Patriots do get the ball back one more time. Which
I want to point out is as we talk about the field goals, had they kicked the field goal both times, they still got the ball back again.
Yeah.
Right. Everything would have played. If everything plays out exactly the same and driving down, they kick a field goal, they win the game. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. No, totally. It's kind of inexplicable to see the Patriots make a gaffe like that. But if they stand by their decision and there's all the sheet or the algorithm or whatever says to go for it, fine. Live and die by whatever your convictions are. But the Patriots do get the ball back. They do drive down, and they do get that touchdown pass to Rob Gronkowski, who on this one, I thought there was offensive pass interference by Gronkowski. He pushed the guy out of the way to go up and grab that football.
Yeah.
But, again, I guess they're not going to call it at a time like that. But the Patriots do get the touchdown with, 16 seconds left?
Right.
And so they're down by 2. All they have to do is make the 2-point conversion. 12 seconds remaining in the game. 2-point conversion. You tie the game. You go to overtime again in Denver for the second time this season. I didn't think they were going to make it. Going into the 2-point conversion, I had a feeling that they weren't going to do it.
I was already set for overtime at that point. I thought, because I was just so aggravated. It was like,
I wouldn't have been surprised, but I just had a feeling like, I don't know if they're going to make it.
See, I was like, because it was like they, little dinks and dunks, and all of a sudden, Manning hits Gronkowski a couple times, and boom, there's your touchdown. It was like, oh my God.
Brady. Yeah.
Or what did I say, man?
Well, and not to mention, earlier on that drive, you mentioned Gronkowski, earlier on that drive, they were on fourth down again.
Right.
And he hits them over the middle with this alley-oop, and Gronkowski has the 2 guys that are covering him. They hit both of his arms while he's trying to catch the ball, and he still pulls it in.
That's what I'm saying.
He's just a piece of meat out there.
It was like the Broncos, and I think it's just because we're so used to the Patriots coming out on top in games like this. The Broncos had so effectively shut them down the whole game. And when he hit Gronk on that fourth down play, I thought, that's it. We're going to overtime, and that's the end of it. And then when they scored the touchdown, I thought, here we go. And it's going to be another nonsense. They didn't deserve to win, but here they're going to find a way to do it in overtime and go to the Super Bowl. So I was convinced. I was at the point of the 2-point conversion. I'm like, this is done. We're going to overtime. I don't know that I would have been any happier had the Packers made the Super Bowl than I was when they missed that 2-point conversion the Broncos held.
Then the Broncos do hold. They get an interception on the 2-point conversion. Try to run it out. It fumbled for a minute, but it doesn't matter.
Right.
The play was over. The game is over. Broncos win 20-18. Manning gets the win in the column. Manning's going to get all the credit. Manning's going back to the Super Bowl. And, trust me, as a Peyton Manning fan, I'm happy to see him going back to the Super Bowl. I'm glad that he got that opportunity. I'm glad that he played well in that first half. But
if he plays,
defense wins championships, and this this was all about the defense.
I had not seen the Broncos defense play that well all season. I heard on the Simmons podcast too that Brady was hit a record number of times in that game. Like 21 or 22 times.
23 times.
23 times.
No NFL quarterback has hit that many times in a full decade since they started keeping the stat.
And they were knocking him silly. I mean, honestly, as somebody, again, I don't hate Tom Brady. I don't particularly hate the Patriots. I'm just tired of them.
Oh, I enjoyed the hell out of it.
I enjoyed it a great deal because it was just fun to watch a defense finally get their hands on that guy. And I will say this. I think the only thing that would have made me happier would have been to see a team do that to Russell Wilson. That might have been a little more enjoyable, but this was fun to watch. And I picked against the Broncos. I thought they were going to lose by 2 touchdowns. I couldn't be happier that they made it. And I won't say it was a well played football game, but it was a fun game to watch. It was tense the whole way through. And that Broncos defense was just amazing. And like you said, that was a 4-man rush. They weren't blitzing. Mm-mm. They were just, they had the perfect game plan to shut down Brady in that offense. And it worked beautifully. I don't know what else to say about it.
Offensive line. The Patriots have already fired their offensive line.
I was going to say, it was so bad for the Patriots that they fired their offensive line coach the next day.
Yeah. And I don't blame them. I mean, I know there's injuries on that O-line, but
come on, you can't have
the
that.
way Von Miller was abusing the left tackle all game long.
Yep.
Every single play there was somebody in the backfield, hands in their face, grabbing around his ankles. Just they were in the backfield every single passing play. Yeah. So it's completely impressive by the Broncos front seven to hound Brady like that. And when we've seen Tom Brady struggle in the playoffs, that's been the MO.
Yep.
You think to the first time they played the Giants in the Super Bowl, and they were all over him all game. The second time they played him, not so much, but still enough that they created havoc for the Patriots in that game. So
I think what you see here with the Patriots, and I mean, this is, I'm not reinventing the wheel here by saying this, but if you can disrupt his rhythm and just get him out of, just get Brady out of his rhythm, it's a very beatable football team. And that's what the Broncos did. It was just amazing. I mean, I was just like, I knew they had a good defense, but I had no idea it could be that good, as it was on Sunday. It was just a joy to watch.
It was pretty great to see. So the Patriots, despite being the best team all season, at least in the AFC, as far as we could tell, the air of revenge about them, they finally get their season deflated, as everyone got to use. I used the joke. The Orange County Register used the quote, but to give a little help to the defense, they put D, just a big capital D, and then hyphen inflated.
Nice.
Yeah. Just all credit to the Broncos. That defense was incredible. But as all the credit that everyone should rightfully give to the Broncos defense, Peyton Manning's the one that gets the W in his column. And a nice little stat that I'm going to bring up to our good friend Mike this week. Peyton Manning is now 3-1 against Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Yes, he is.
3-0 at home, I should say. Or is it? No, it's 3-2 against Brady in the playoffs.
I thought it was 3-1.
Is it 3-1?
I think it is, but whatever. I know what you're saying though. That Manning has a better record against in the playoffs, where Manning's supposedly not very good. He's beaten Brady more times than he's lost to him. That much we know.
Right.
So,
this one isn't Peyton Manning's doing.
No.
He played really well in the first half. A couple of those touchdown passes were great.
But here's the thing. While we're talking about Manning for a second, had Osweiler played, I don't think the Broncos would have been any better off. I think it was exactly the same thing we would have seen. So Peyton Manning, he did what he had to do. And that's it. No, did he take them to the Super Bowl? No, you got to give all the credit to that for the defense. But he also didn't kill them either. No. He just needed to go out there, play solid football, get the job done. When he could get the job done, he did exactly that, and he's going to the Super Bowl. It's as simple as that.
He's going to the Super Bowl.
For his, fourth time now?
This will be the fourth Super Bowl.
Fourth, right?
Fourth Super Bowl for him. The eighth for the Denver Broncos, tying the most in NFL history, along with the Cowboys, Steelers, Patriots, and I think that's it.
Yeah,
Cowboys,
that's it.
Steelers, Patriots, and now the Broncos go for an eighth time. But it's funny that this will be the Broncos' eighth Super Bowl. They've only won 2.
Yeah.
Where all those other teams have 4 or 5 wins in their Super Bowl ledger. The Broncos, despite making a record number of Super Bowls now, not the greatest Super Bowl record.
Well, and in their defense, they played some really good teams. I mean, some all-time teams in some of those Super Bowls. They lost to a great Dallas team. I think it was 77. I don't remember what Super Bowl number it was, but that team was one of the, the Roger Staubach, great Cowboys teams. They lost to what I think is probably the best team I've ever seen in the 89 49ers. So, yeah, they're 2-5 in Super Bowls right now, but they also didn't exactly get the easiest draws in those Super Bowl either. So that's what I'm trying to say.
No. It was also announced that the Broncos were going to wear white jerseys in the Super Bowl because they're 0-3 in orange.
Yeah.
2-0 in white, and 1-1 in blue, I believe. Or no, I guess they'd be 1-1 in blue, 1-0 in white.
Yeah, they won. They beat the Packers wearing white, and or no, that was the Falcons, wasn't it? They beat the Falcons.
They beat the Falcons in white and beat the Packers
in blue. Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so interesting that plays into it.
Well, while we're talking about Super Bowl appearances for a second, we've talked about the AFC and how everybody talks about parity and all that. Mm-hmm. Look back we've got 4 teams that have been there 8 times. 3 of them are from the AFC. So of 49 Super Bowls at this point, 24 of them have had one of the 3 same teams in it. In the Broncos, Patriots, and Steelers. Yeah,
I think the difference, the Steelers more concentrated in one era. They got the 2 with Roethlisberger now.
Yeah. Well, they lost one in the 90s, and they lost one to the Packers. What did they lost 2, right? Or 3? I don't remember anymore, but
they have 5. They've won 6.
They've won 6, and they've lost 2. So, yeah, they lost to the Packers, and they lost to the Cowboys in 95, yeah.
But the Cowboys, you think mostly the early days and then the 90s. But the Patriots, they had 2 before Tom Brady?
Yep.
So that's all one era. But the Broncos have been a lot of different eras, right? Or how many did John Elway go to?
3.
He went to 3.
Oh, no, 5. I take that back. He went to 5.
Right. Okay. So he went to 5. Peyton Manning's now gone to 2.
Yeah, Elway went to 5. He lost 3 in the 80s and then won the last 2 in the 90s and retired.
So who's the other quarterback?
Craig Morton.
Okay. So it's just kind of interesting to break it down like that. But yeah. The other story from the Patriots in this game that we forgot to mention. The iPads, Microsoft Surface tablets, as we're expressively supposed to call them, because they are the official sponsor of the National Football League.
How's that working out for them?
Yeah, well, on Sunday, the Surface tablets on the Patriots side of the field stopped working. Like, I was watching it in a sports bar, and I couldn't really hear what was going on. So they kept showing these close-ups of the sidelines of Tom Brady's iPad. And I'm like, why do we keep looking at that? Like, what is going on with the tablet that is so important to Tom Brady's life that I'm missing out on? And I guess they weren't working. And so, obviously, you hear some Patriots fans say, well, if this was the Patriots, everyone would have cried conspiracy. What did you think of that part of the game?
Well, you know what? First off, that'll teach you to look. I'm an Apple guy. I'm going to come right out and say it. I have been for a very long time. Mm-hmm. I don't trust Microsoft stuff, and what we saw on Sunday is precisely why I don't trust it. But okay, as far as the game itself goes, are those things really that important in the scheme of things? I guess would be my question. I
think they're using them in lieu of like the old binders that we used to see quarterbacks flipping through. It's the same idea where you can show them video rather than like just the play sheets.
I just wonder, are Patriots fans saying this is why they lost? I mean, because they're always good with the excuses, Okay, good.
No, it's just, it's something they're pointing to. I think everyone knows that just the Broncos defense was all over them, and they missed an extra point.
That extra point, again, I talked about it a little bit ago. I'll say it again. We ridiculed the fact that they were even looking at the extra point, but now I think it was a really smart move by the NFL to change that. I do.
There are some people that are complaining that we shouldn't have an extra point deciding the AFC Championship games.
Why?
Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Right?
Would it have been better had he missed it from the old extra point spot? Then you're really kicking yourself. Yeah, then you're really kicking yourself, right? It was a play that was 99.6% automatic. And they took it. They put a little more interest into it. I mean, I got to be honest now. I watched the extra points now because I'm like, well, this isn't a chip shot anymore.
No.
And when he missed it, right away I thought this is going to come back and play a huge role in this game. And that's exactly what it did.
And that's all he really wanted was people to pay attention to the extra points. Because you got a bunch of times before where somebody scores a touchdown.
Oh, you're up and out of the room.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're up and out of the room. You're getting out of your seat going to the concession stand because, this is I can add another 15 seconds that I'm going to get to the commercial break immediately after.
The only time that you paid any attention was if it was a close game and the other team had to go for 2. That's the only time you paid any attention to it at all. Other than that, it was like, the minute the touchdown was scored, you're like, later, I'm going to flip to a different game. I'm going to the concession stand, whatever. And they've taken that out of it to some extent with this new rule. And I like the fact that the AFC Championship came down to a missed extra point. It was like, you know what? You look like geniuses now, which is a rare thing to say about the NFL these days.
Yeah, so definitely an interesting game. Patriots season ends, and something I was reminded of, Tom Brady hasn't had that appeal hearing yet.
Yeah.
He could still be suspended for the first 4 games of next season, possibly. Wouldn't that be something?
I hope. I just wish the whole thing would just go away, but okay.
We're not done with Deflategate. And speaking of, because I guess this happened after we went on, you heard what happened last week against the Chiefs with the kicking balls.
I heard something about it. I didn't get the whole
referee. I guess the referees keep the balls once they're inspected.
Right.
So they had them at the hotel along with the pressure gauges for the footballs, and they left them in their hotel room. So they had to get a police escort with the balls and the air pressure gauges to the stadium from the hotel room.
Oh, geez.
Against the Chiefs. So.
But anyway, I'm really happy the Broncos are going to the Super Bowl. I can't believe as a former Cleveland Browns fan, a fan of the original Browns, I'm saying that, but I'm really happy to see it.
Yeah. Broncos beat the Patriots 20-18. They'll be going to Santa Clara in Super Bowl 50 in 2 weeks to play, as we already said it, the Carolina Panthers in an absolutely dominating performance over the Cardinals. I will say part of it is how well the Panthers played. The other part of it is the Cardinals played as bad as you can possibly play.
I talked about the Broncos defense. I had not seen it look at that good all year. I had not seen the Cardinals play this bad. I don't even remember the last time, to be honest. I mean, they looked like that did not look like a 12-4 football team in that game to me. Wow.
No, and I mean, you get the Carson Palmer interceptions, the Carson Palmer fumble, the muffed punt, just all the things that go wrong. The defense looked terrible for the Cardinals in this game as well. The Panthers routinely hitting long passes downfield.
They did whatever they wanted.
And it was just another massacre. And unlike the week previous when the Panthers went up 31-0, took their foot off the gas and cruised and let the Seahawks come back, they weren't going to do that 2 weeks in a row.
No.
And they made sure to keep their foot on the Cardinals' throat, and they pushed it down in the game. First quarter, the Panthers get a field goal. Okay. Cardinals still in the game. Next one is a 22-yard run on a 4th and 1 to Ted Ginn Jr., who got the handoff, went the length widthwise of the field to turn the corner, just missed the Cardinal tackle, and that was another thing. The Cardinals tackling in this game was atrocious.
They didn't do anything right.
And he was able to cut back all the way to meet Cam Newton at the other pylon, who had handed him off the ball for a 22-yard run and touchdown. And to close out the corner, Corey Brown gets an 86-yard pass from Cam Newton for a 17-0 Panther lead after the first quarter. And from there, this was it. This was where this game was going to go.
I just want to say, too, that all of my former Buckeye buddies, Ginn, Brown, who was the other? Kurt Coleman had an interception. Former Bucks had a nice game in that game. But I don't even know what this – really, I didn't think that – I wasn't surprised that Carolina won. I didn't think in a million years they could do this. That Cardinals team I was like, geez, this isn't even the same team I watched all season. They were just terrible across the board.
They were having trouble running the ball all day, but they did get a touchdown run from David Johnson in the second quarter to make things 17-7. Maybe this is still a game.
Right. And then, well, go ahead. We know what happens next.
Then interceptions and fumbles, and Cam Newton eventually runs it in for a 24-7 lead. Then the Panthers just keep marching on from there. They score the only points in the third quarter. 10 more points, a Cam Newton 12-yard run, and a 21-yard field goal for a 34-7 lead. And it just goes on and on. The Cardinals will get another touchdown in the fourth quarter, but just interceptions. And the one that really sticks out to me as stupid is the Patrick Peterson punt fumble.
Yeah.
Why are you getting that football?
Right.
It's going hard and fast and out of bounds. Let it go.
Yep. I saw.
I think he's trying to catch it on the run to make a play and make a return, but it was going to be pretty good field position to maybe do something with, and instead you give the ball right back to the Panthers. On the very next play after that, he has a holding penalty that set the Panthers up for another touchdown.
I want to say that there were probably, in the first half, I think I saw 3 different points where the Cardinals had a really nice shot at getting back into that game and just shot themselves in the foot every single time. Again, like I said, this looked like the Cardinals that we used to make fun of when they would go 5-11 or 4-12 every season. This was not the team that I watched all season. I can't think of anything that they did well all day except turn the ball over. They were really good at that because when they finished with 7-8 turnovers when it was all said and done.
7 turnovers by the Cardinals. Carson Palmer ties an NFL record for 6 turnovers in a playoff game.
No.
He's the 8th player to do so. Just terrible.
I felt for him because I like both teams. I was happy with whoever won, but I just thought, geez, man, to have the season that they've had, because it's their best regular season they've ever had, make the NFC Championship game and just not even show up like that. It's just devastating for their fans, I've got to think. Because it was never really a game. I mean, there were a couple times where it could have been, but they couldn't get out of their own way long enough to make anything happen. It was just brutal to watch, really.
Mm-hmm. Carson Palmer becomes the second quarterback in 15 seasons to throw 3 fourth-quarter interceptions in a playoff game.
Oh, God.
And one of those got returned for the exclamation point by Luke Kuechly for the 49-15 score.
That was a nice play by Kuechly, too, by the way.
You know who else threw 3 fourth-quarter playoff interceptions?
No.
2011, against the Rams, Brett Favre.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, right?
I loved Brett Favre. I always liked him as a player, but I always thought,
he's a gunslinger.
He's a gunslinger, but you say that like it's a good thing. I saw him. I don't get it. I saw him blow as many games as I saw him win with that style of play, but that's another topic for another day. But I'm not surprised at all that Favre's the other guy that did it at all.
No. The Panthers get to 49 points. They scored 80 points in their first 2 playoff games. They're tied for the 3rd most points by any team in its first 2 postseason games since the merger in 1970. Only the 1990 Bills and 94 49ers scored more points in their first 2 games.
Well, I know that Bills team, I think they won the AFC Championship 51-3 over the Raiders.
They scored 95 points in their first 2 games.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. You look at this Panthers team because we all watched that, and I got caught up in it too for a little while. I thought, man, these guys are just amazing. But you have to take into account. Now, I'm not taking a thing away from the Panthers; they're the best team in the NFL this year. But you still have to take into account too that the Cardinals didn't play very well, so you can't get all caught up in this blowout and go, the Panthers are just unbeatable.
I wouldn't say they're unbeatable, but they're pretty damn good.
They're really, really good. But I don't, I think that I was ready to coronate them as like the new 85 Bears. Just like there's just, Denver has no chance against this team. But you got to take into account that the Cardinals did a lot of the damage to themselves too. So, but that doesn't mean I'd still pick Carolina, but I just wanted to bring that up that you can't get too caught up in what a one-sided loss it was because the Cardinals were just as hurting themselves as much as the Panthers were.
Definitely. But again, Cam Newton, 4 total touchdowns, 2 passing, 2 running, gets that diving somersaulting play into the end zone.
That was a nice play too.
Celebrating up and down all over the field.
Yeah.
As Cam's want to do.
Do you have a problem with that?
I don't.
I don't either.
I think I heard a complaint from from Bill Burr, the comedian. He has a podcast, and I wanted to listen because he's a very fiery Patriots fan. So he also did a commentary on the Panthers, and he said something that kind of struck with me. He's tired of hearing, Cam Newton, he's just out there having fun. He looks like he's having the most fun out there. Cam Newton's just having a ton of fun out there, which, take her to leave it. I think it was funny because my grandfather has season tickets to the Cardinals, right?
Right.
So I called him after the game just to talk about it with him, and he's like, "Man, I don't like that Cam Newton. He's a hot dog. I don't like him." So I'm like, all right. Well, it kind of showed the difference between the older generation and me. Like, I kind of like Cam Newton. Like, every time he throws a touchdown, I'm like, oh, here he goes. He's going to do his dance. He's going to dab on him. Dab on the haters.
Well,
I think it's fun. But
I am from the generation that I bet you that if you asked the 10 people my age, that 9 of them wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
But I would rather see what he does on a touchdown than some of the other crazy stuff that players do. I mean, I like to give him the ball to a kid. I think that's great. And it's just something about his celebrations that don't strike me as being as, I don't know, I can't think of the word I'm looking for, but he doesn't seem like he's trying to show anybody up by doing it. And I think that's the difference to me. I mean, a lot of people are like, it's not genuine, it's choreographed and all this, whatever, I don't have a problem with it. And normally I'm one that goes like, you know what, act like you've been there. But with him, it doesn't bother me for some reason. I don't know why.
I like it. It's fun. And I'm sure we'll see plenty of it and have plenty to talk about it for the next 2 weeks. I think the thing that's impressed me most, I think, out of the Panthers in the playoffs, though, has been that offense. Yeah. Considering who they have and considering, who's running the ball, who's receiving. I mean, Jonathan Stewart at 83 yards as running back. It's pretty fine. Yeah. But Cam Newton throwing for 335 yards, 2 touchdowns. His leading receiver was Corey Brown.
Philly Brown, baby, former Buckeye. Yeah.
Greg Olsen, who's still a great tight end, 6 catches, 113 yards, same as Brown for the yards. Ted Ginn Jr., Devin Funchess caught a touchdown pass. Jericho Cotchery is still running around for them.
Wow.
Mike Tolbert is still playing for the Panthers.
Okay, it seems to me like Tolbert's been there since they became a team in '95. I swear. The guy's been there forever.
Yeah. He's been around. So I'm very impressed by the Panthers offense. The defense is great. Luke Kuechly in that group have been playing extremely well. Yeah. Very opportunistic, getting the interceptions and fumbles where they can. I think there's a lot of people that initially, once both the games were over and they're starting to look towards that Super Bowl, it's pretty easy to make the quick, Panthers are going to demolish the
It is. I fell right into that
trap.
They're
going to destroy Peyton Manning.
I fell right into it. I mean, my first thought was after the game, I remember with the 85 Bears, who was a team that was just that good, and they asked, I don't know if you knew Bob Trumpy is. He used to be an analyst. I don't know if he still does games or not anymore, but anyway, he used to be an analyst, and they asked him about the Patriots-Bears matchup on that Super Bowl, and he said, do you think the Patriots can win? He goes, I don't think they can score a point. And that's kind of how I felt right after the Panthers got done demolishing the Cardinals. But like I said, as time went on, I thought, you got to put things in a little perspective. The Cardinals didn't play that great. The Panthers are really good, but I don't know if they're 85 Bears good. But yeah, it was easy to fall into that trap where you're going, man, this is going to be a blowout.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think the difference too is the Cardinals defense, despite being pretty aggressive and swarming all season. I mean, you saw what they did to the Packers in the first matchup they played. They got no pressure on Cam Newton all day. None. And normally Cam Newton's a guy who likes to move around the pocket, likes to get out and run. He didn't have to. Yeah. The Panther or the Cardinals just couldn't get to him. They couldn't stop the run all that effectively, really. So I think if the Broncos defense can play like they did against Tom Brady, then the Panthers offense is going to be in a different situation than they were in this game. And I mean, I think that's the way this game's going to have to be if the Broncos are going to win it, because maybe Peyton Manning has some sort of renaissance performance and is able to generate some offense for the Broncos in that game. But I think if the Broncos are going to win, it's going to have to be tight.
They're going to have to play. It's going to have to be a lot like the AFC Championship game. They cannot win a shootout against the Carolina Panthers. There's just no way. No. They just don't have the weapons on offense anymore.
But I think that's the thing. I actually think the Broncos' offensive weapons are better than the Panthers. It's just a matter of can the offense or can Peyton Manning generate enough? Can Peyton Manning get the ball to where he needs to get it to?
I think that the Panthers' weapons. I think the guys like Ginn and Corey Brown and Stewart and the guys like that, I think they're a little underrated. I think we don't look at them and go that they're kind of Ted Ginn. I mean, one day he can look like Jerry Rice, and the next day he looks like me out there trying to play wide receiver. I mean, you just don't know what you're going to get. If you get good Ted Ginn, he's a dangerous weapon, but you don't know if you're going to get that or not.
I guarantee there's a bunch of 49er fans that are watching that game saying, this is the Ted Ginn that we wanted.
Well, there you go. There's a perfect example. Yeah, a perfect comparison. But yeah, so I think the Panthers have the capability to be very dangerous on offense, but. To me, it's a very intriguing game. I mean, now, if you asked me Sunday night, I'd be like, this is going to be a blowout. But now I'm looking at it and going, this could be really interesting because that Broncos defense is superb.
Really is. And
I'm looking at it, I'm going, is there a guy on the Panthers that Broncos defense can't stop? And the only guy I can see them having any kind of trouble with is Cam Newton just because he's multifaceted, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's not just a drop back passer. With the rest of them, I think they can shut those guys down.
I mean, Cam Newton's a freaking tank.
Yeah.
There was one play where he started running, and some Cardinal guy was coming running full speed at him, and Cam just bowled him over and kept running. He's built.
Well, that's the thing. He's a big guy. He's a big quarterback. He can run. He can throw. And he's the guy that I think if the Broncos can neutralize him, they are capable of shutting down the rest of that offense. And here's the trick, though, and like you brought it up, can Manning put enough points on the board to make the difference? I mean, I don't know. You know, I would love to see Peyton Manning become Peyton Manning one more time, win that second Super Bowl so everybody would shut the hell up about it. And ride off into the sunset. That's my dream scenario here.
Yeah, I think as we transition towards the Super Bowl, before we go to that, just to close the book on the Cardinals, 12-4 regular season, kind of a underwhelming overtime win against the Packers in retrospect.
Yeah.
It was exciting in the moment because of the Hail Mary and the overtime and all that, but the Cardinals should have won that game. The regular season Cardinals should have won that game better.
Well, I was just going to say,
Cardinals did.
If you look at the playoff Cardinals, they didn't play well really in either game.
No.
And the Packers just weren't capable of doing to them what the Panthers did to them because they played essentially about at the same level both games. Just the Packers weren't nearly good enough to capitalize on it, where Carolina, you give them opportunities like that and they're going to destroy you, and we watched it happen on Sunday.
And I think the guy that you got to look immediately at is Carson Palmer.
Yeah.
He's been a very good regular season quarterback, but before coming to the Cardinals, he was 0-2 with the Bengals, and maybe you give him not so much credit for one of those losses, considering he had his ACL torn on the first play of that game. But he, it's kind of cliche or kind of strange to say that it is a different game in the playoffs.
It is.
It's things are more precise. It's faster. Any mistake gets overblown and blown out to great proportions. And if you're Carson Palmer, you can't make some of those passes.
Oh, just
in this game, just terrible.
Yeah,
terrible interceptions. The fumbles, maybe not entirely his fault because the guy's coming from behind, hitting him, whatever. But he made some bad decisions, and beyond that, I think just a lot of it's going to rest on Carson Palmer's shoulders because he does throw the interceptions. But the Cardinals just weren't all there. I mean, you look at a guy like Larry Fitzgerald, who's the heart and soul of that team, never drops passes. He had like 3 drops in this game.
Yeah.
And over his career, Fitzgerald, in his 11 or 12 years in the league, has only dropped 24 passes going into that game.
Yeah.
It's just not something he does.
They just didn't look like, I don't want to say they weren't prepared, but maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Again, they did enough to beat the Packers, but really, if it wasn't for Larry Fitzgerald, they might have lost that game for that matter. I mean, he was basically why they won. I mean, it was that 75-yard run after the catch that he made in overtime that was really the difference in that football game. I don't know. I don't want to blame coaching. I don't know what you blame it on, but they just seemed like maybe it's a lack of experience because I don't think anybody from the 2009 team is still playing for these guys that has the playoff experience.
I think just Fitzgerald.
Yeah.
And as far as I can remember, yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't know what it was, but the regular season Cardinals, this would have never happened to them, what happened to Carolina, and I don't think they played the Packers that close either, so who knows what it was, but they weren't the same team that they were in the regular season, and that's lethal in the playoffs because you're right. In a playoff game, it's not like if you're playing Week 14 against your most hated rival, you've still got Week 15 coming up after that.
Yeah.
That isn't the case in the playoffs. You either win this one or you go home. So I don't know what it was, but you're right. They weren't the same team, and it really cost them, I think.
Yeah. The offensive line didn't give him enough time to throw. Palmer didn't execute when he needed to. Larry Fitzgerald had some drops. They couldn't run, and the defense was just giving up space to the Panthers all day, missing tackles, allowing these big plays. And like I said at the beginning, it was just as bad as the Cardinals could possibly play in a spot like that. They did. And you don't lose a 34 point, lose by 34 points in a conference championship game by accident.
No,
they just didn't show up, and they played well.
Well,
didn't play well at all.
Like they had 3 turnovers in the first half, and it's hard enough to win a game with 3 turnovers the entire game.
Yeah.
Usually, if you have 3 turnovers, you're probably not going to win. And they had 3 in the first half, and it just got away from them really quick. And once that happened, against a really great team like the Panthers, you're not going to get it back. And you're right, you don't lose by accident. They just didn't play well. And I can't think of one thing that they did well that whole game. And that's a really good football team that played like the Cleveland Browns for 60 minutes, basically.
So we turn towards the Super Bowl, where the Panthers, they'll be going up against the Broncos. Broncos, of course, as we already said, wearing all white. That means the Panthers, who've been wearing all whites the whole playoff run because they had good luck at home in the whites in playoff previous, they'll be wearing the black jersey with the silver pants in the Super Bowl. But the interesting thing there is in the last Super Bowl appearance for the Panthers, they wore all white and lost to the Patriots 10 years ago. Yeah. Or not 10 years ago, but 2002, 14 years ago, to the Patriots in that game. So a little switch up by both sides. Maybe it works out for both sides that one team wanted to wear the white for good luck, and the other one, we lost in white in the last Super Bowl. So
here's something.
If that matters to anybody.
Something to think about with the all white, okay? In 2002, when the Buckeyes made the national championship game, they wore white. Mm-hmm. For some similar reasons. I don't know what it was. But they had the option to wear the red or the white. They went with the white. They won the game. So they go back, and whatever year it was, the year they just got destroyed by Florida, they thought, we're going to wear white again because we're good in white. We want to, and guess what happened? So I don't know that you want to. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you don't put too much stock into it, really.
Especially when it's like the Elway Broncos versus the Manning Broncos. They have no connection.
No.
The Delhomme Panthers versus the Newton Panthers, there's no connection.
Right.
So it doesn't matter, but
I mean, if anything at all, and it would be a very, very slight thing if you're a team like the Cowboys, where you always wear the white and you get, you have to wear the blue. It might be just I doubt it would have any effect at all, but you might get guys going like these jerseys they don't feel right because, they're not used to wearing them. But other than that, I can't see anything that would really matter out of this.
No, I don't think so either, as far as that goes.
But we're uniform geeks. We're going to talk about it. Simple as that.
Yeah, Peyton Manning versus Cam Newton, the largest discrepancy between starting quarterbacks in the Super Bowl in terms of age in NFL history, 13 years and something months.
And in numbers, 18-1.
Yeah. Interesting, too. I don't know what else to put in here. I mean, I think we're probably going to have a Super Bowl preview that we can go like deep into
definitely.
the numbers.
Yep.
And of course, we got to get our Pro Bowl.
Right.
We got our Pro Bowl on.
Well, that Brian Hoyer versus, I don't know who a bad quarterback in the NFC is, but.
Well, but it doesn't matter if it's NFC or NFC anymore. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Geez.
It's going to be Team Jerry Rice taking on Team Michael Irvin.
Okay. Well, when Brian Hoyer leads Team Jerry Rice versus Blaine Gabbert on Team Michael Irvin, that's going to be a shootout. You don't want to miss it.
That game being played in Hawaii again. For now.
I wonder if I like it better in Hawaii, but I don't like it being the week before the Super Bowl. I don't care for that. I don't like it at all.
I don't care.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things.
It something to do the Sunday before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I suppose.
To me, when I was growing up, I always thought it was strange that the All-Star game was after the season.
Well, you kind of have to do that in football.
Other sport. Well, yeah, I know.
Well, I know, though they do it in hockey. I mean, it's not like hockey's, like a non-contact sport. So I don't know what the reasoning is for it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they want to honor a full season instead of a half season.
Yeah, that's true.
Whatever. I guess the last thing to say about the Super Bowl going forward, because it relates to the last game, during their post-game handshake, Peyton Manning and Bill Belichick exchanged a few words, and you could hear the audio that they got, the microphone that they surrounded him. Peyton said to Belichick, "This might be my last rodeo, so it sure has been a pleasure playing against him."
You know what? I hope it is his last rodeo, win, lose, or draw. I don't want to see him come back. I think this is – I put it this way. at week 6 during the season, if you told me that Peyton Manning was going to be in the Super Bowl, I would have told you were nuts. The way he was playing and everything. So I hope he's done. I mean, I would love to see him win this one. If he wins, he's done. That's it. He's not coming back, right? He can't.
I mean, I think one way or the other, this needs to be his last game.
I agree, but
because the other thing is he's going to be a free agent at the end of this year, and there's no way the Broncos bring him back.
No,
not in that shape.
The only thing I could think of to bring him back, and this would be basically on him if he wanted to do it, if they said, look, we'll bring you back at a reduced salary to be like the mentor, coach / backup quarterback type thing. That I could see. Anything short of that, no, that's just not going to happen. No,
I agree. But yeah, if he wins right off into the sunset, John Elway style, it's the right thing to do, Peyton. Like, it's just, I've enjoyed your career, but if you can put that exclamation point on it, get that second Super Bowl, get everybody off your back, all the people that have ever hated on you, this would be the way to do it.
Yeah.
Manning expanded on on that kind of comments in the MMQB the other day, saying that's what I told Tom and Bill, that I've enjoyed this game and I've enjoyed all of them. I've enjoyed this rivalry and all the games we played in. It's been such an honor to play against both of them. This is my 17th time playing against the Patriots with Tom at quarterback. It's my 24th against Belichick as a head coach or defensive coordinator. I can't shake either one of them. I'm always there. They're always standing between me and where our team wants to go. What a rivalry. It's been such a big part of my career, so I wanted to take the time to pass it along to him. Now, much respect I have for both of them.
You know what? Thinking back on it, I've been watching this game for a really long time. We talked about like Marino, Montana in that era. This has really been special between these two.
Yeah.
There's never been a rivalry like this where it's just so many big games have happened between two guys like this.
Like, did Marino have a Brady that kept stopping him from getting to where he wanted to go to?
No, not really. No, himself, I guess. But yeah.
But like, did the Dolphins kept going up against the same team year after year after year?
No, that's what I mean. This has been really something. I mean, it's just been an amazing thing to watch. And you're looking at two of the best that ever played the game. I mean, you pick which one you want to be the better of the two. I'll take either one of them.
Now that I have that little stat in my back pocket of Peyton Manning is 3-1 against Tom Brady in his career, I'll take that. Or actually, you know what? It's 3-2.
Whatever.
It is 3-2.
Still because more.
This was the third, but Peyton is also all those games have been home games that he's won against the Patriots. So.
Well, whatever. A win's a win.
So we have 2 weeks to wait before the Broncos and Panthers square off. Super Bowl 50, Santa Clara, California.
And a little tease here. We'll make our Super Bowl picks next week.
Any last words before we go off into our extra week of prep for the Super Bowl?
I can't really say anything because I give away my picks, so no.
All right. For Greg, I'm Zach. This is basically a football show. Follow us everywhere. Enjoy the week off before we go into Super Bowl week next week. See you then.
The Chiefs responded to the Vikings score by returning to the strategy. Oh, now. Middle back of Don Dant. Oh, shoot.